Okay, I said. All right. So we are entering into Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu session number 6. As usual, we'll start with Gopala Champu story for 10-15 minutes. Then we'll enter into Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then after that, we'll have QA. Feel free to drop off for the QA session. So in Gopala Champu, the story so far is that Krishna, after coming from Dwaraka, after killing Dantavakra, he has entered into Vrindavan after 33 years. So the entire Vrajavasis were overwhelmed by his return and they just celebrated it joyfully. Then we saw how the gopis were feeling toward Krishna and how Radharani was reminded by her daily duties that she does at the home of Krishna by bringing up the part of the rasa of Yashoda. So by changing her rasa to bhakti toward Yashoda, so they brought her out of the swoon, and then she went to Krishna's home, and then she started cooking in the kitchen. Now, Jiva Goswami is going to start another cherishable episode. So he's moving from there to look at another angle of what Krishna is doing at this time. So far we have been seeing what the gopis are doing. Now we are going to look at what Krishna is going to do. So Krishna in the early morning before the sun rises, he his morning, he wakes up from his home, from his room, and then he comes out. As soon as he comes out, there are so many boys who are all servants for Krishna. They are all of the same age and qualities as Krishna, but they perform paricharya or service, seva, physical service using their body. They do service to Krishna. And these are the boys of Abhira and Shudra boys. Through their lineage, they perform this paricharya to Krishna. And they stay close by in Gokula. And they have a lot of pranaya, love for Krishna. So love mixed with Sakya Rasa. So they are in Dasya Rasa, but they have their love mixed with the Sakya Rasa. They are very similar to Krishna's friends in age, bodily effulgence, and strength. And they always look forward for this opportune moments when they can go and perform service to Krishna. They have separate specific times of the day where they go on to perform service to Krishna. For example, when Krishna wakes up, Krishna has to be bathed and he has to be dressed up and he has to be done different things. So this is their opportunity time for to perform their service. And later, some other services also they perform. So right now they are looking forward for this moment when Krishna will wake up from his room and they will go on to perform this service. So they, with this exciting eagerness, they approached the excellent doors of Krishna's house just before the sunrise. And they are waiting for Krishna to come out. And they were holding a lot of items in their hands, like water for bathing and different things for brushing the teeth and towel and so on. All these different items for performing service to Krishna, they are holding all of these things. And they just followed around Krishna. When Krishna came out and then he was walking around, they were following Krishna. And Krishna was in the prime age of Kaishora. Kaishora is around, like you can say, 15. So he's always in that age in the spiritual world. So even when he comes to the material world, he never grows beyond that age. Even when he leaves Vrindavan and goes to Mathura and Dwaraka, he's always in that age, fixed in that age. He never grows beyond that. So Krishna came out of his home and then he went and sat nearby in a sitting place to perform his morning activities. And when he sat in that stone, all these Vaishyas and the Shudras and the Abhirabhais, who were the servants of Krishna, they all came together nearby. And his friends, Krishna's friends, these are Vaishyas and Abhiras. such as Subala, Sridama, all of these people, they also came to that place. They come in the morning to meet Krishna. They were very blissful. They have this Sakya Rasa overflowing. So there are two sets of boys. One set of boys are who are serving Krishna in Sakya Rasa, and there are one set of boys who are serving Krishna in Dasya Rasa. So these boys who are in Sakirasa, Subala and Sridama, they are very playful in their nature and they joke with Krishna and play with Krishna. And Krishna was sitting there, who is full of kautuka or festivity, and he was asking them, "Why did you guys come so late? You should have come early." And he exchanged questions like this and similar other questions and jokes with each other. Then there was a specific seat that was arranged for Krishna for performing his morning bath. Then he went and sat there. And these friends of Krishna, they have lot of love for Krishna and they want to perform their service to Krishna. So they are following Krishna wherever he goes. In this connection, Jiva Goswami writes a very beautiful verse in Gopala Champu. He says that Krishna and his friends are like Atma and Prana, or you can say body. Atma and body. Atma and body have to be together. And there is no difference between Atma and the body in the sense that I can point to myself and say, I am Vraja Jivan Das. Or I can point to my Atma and say, I am Vraja Jivan Das. Pointing to the body or pointing to the Atma and pointing to the same person. So in that sense, they are one with each other. Krishna is like the Atma and the friends are like the bodies. You cannot separate them. The only difference between them is the Atma is inside and the body is outside. That's the only difference. So similarly, that the Krishna and his friends, the only difference is they have separate bodies, but otherwise they are just equal to each other in terms of love and affection. So, as Krishna was sitting in that seat, the morning sun rose and Krishna started performing his morning activities. First, he performed cleaning his face, hands, legs with the water. He cleaned up. And then after that, he is going to take massage, oil massage from the servants, this who are like Krishna's friends. They were around him, ready to perform oil massage for him. These oil masseurs, Jiva Goswami is saying they are very fortunate. Their glories cannot be even described by Shesha. Why? Because they are touching directly the body. They are not just touching the body. When they are doing oil massage to Krishna's limbs, they are also going and smelling the fragrance of his head. And they are just doing oil massage to his lotus feet. And they take his hands and then they do oil massage to his arms. And in that way, when they are performing the oil massage, they go on embrace him as well. They are looking forward for this chance. They have why they are doing this because they have a lot of thirst for Krishna, and the thirst cannot be controlled, and then it manifests as these activities. Whatever happiness one can attain in Vatsalya Rasa, Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, or Madhurya Rasa, all the happiness are attained by these oil masseurs. This is what Jiva Goswami says. Why? In Vatsalya Rasa, what the parents do? The parents take the child in their hand, and then they smell the head. So when Krishna comes to Nanda Maharaj lifts Krishna and then he smells the head. Or if he is a grown-up boy like in Kaishora age, he just embraces him and smells the head. And that's what the oil masseurs are doing. They are smelling the fragrance of Krishna's head and then they are embracing him. In Dasya they are already in Dasya so that happiness also they are enjoying. Sakya they are playfully joking with Krishna also while they are doing this massage. And like a friend, they are engaging with Krishna. So they have attained the happiness of Sakya Rasa. Shringara Rasa or Madhuri Rasa. In Madhuri Rasa, the gopis embrace Krishna. And these oil masseurs, they are also embracing Krishna. So in that way, whatever the happiness is in all different rasas, these oil masseurs, they were obtaining that. So at that time, after the oil massage is done, what Krishna does, Krishna then took a bath. He takes a bath, and then he cleanses his limbs completely. After cleansing his limbs completely, then he wears yellow dhoti and a uttari, a shawl on the top. These are the dress he wears in Vrindavan. Dhoti and a shawl. There is no shirt. People don't wear on that day. Those days shirts so much. And then he puts a tilaka on his head, and then he takes achman, and then he started performing his dharmic duties, morning karmas. There are a lot of karma kandi activities that one has to do if one is in a Varanashrama society. So Krishna is located in a Varanashrama society, so he performs his morning karmas. And then he accepts different divine objects which are offered to Vishnu, and he decorates himself with lots of jewels. And he takes up a flute, a horn, a peacock feather, and a stick within his hand, and then he walks around. Jiva Goswami is saying all these activities that Krishna is performing at this time, it's attracting his heart very much. So after he has done all these activities, then he comes to the courtyard of his home. His home has a big courtyard within it, and he enters that courtyard. When he was entering the courtyard, he is surrounded by friends of the same age and who are locally residing there. All of them were just around Krishna. They were like following, just like the stars are following the moon. So these friends were following Krishna wherever he goes. And when he entered the courtyard, his mother Yashoda was waiting for Krishna to come there. And when she sees Krishna coming up nicely dressed, she was feeling as if her life has come. So Jiva Goswami gives an example here that just as when you install a deity with the prana pratishtha, that is, you are infusing prana within the deity, prana of the Lord, the deity comes to life. Similarly, Yashoda was receiving Krishna as if she is the deity and Krishna is entering her and she comes to life. Then so many people were gathered in that courtyard. Some people were saying, "Hey, see, Krishna has come, Krishna has come, Krishna has come." All of them are waiting for Krishna to come in the morning. He is seeing them the first time here. And then somebody else is saying, "What sweetness that he is possessing. His sweetness personified." And somebody is saying, "Krishna ki jai, may he be victorious." And then some other people, they are bringing a lot of articles for doing drishti. They are waving the arati and different things they are doing around Krishna. And some of the people are cursing their eyelids. They are saying this, "Why this eyelids is existing for me? It should disappear. It is just stopping me from continuously relishing the beauty of Krishna." When Krishna suddenly entered the courtyard, he did not gradually enter, he suddenly entered the courtyard. All these people experienced a lot of wonder. Some wonder has entered inside them and it agitated their hearts. So, if this is the case for all the different people, they become very excited as soon as Krishna entered. How can the love of Yashoda, how can the agitation, how can the experience of Yashoda can be described? Because Yashoda has a lot of love for Krishna. So it is 5:46. We'll stop Gopala Champu here. Then we will continue with Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, to do a recap, so far what we have learned, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we have looked at the meaning of the title itself. What is Bhakti? What is Rasa? What is Amrita? And what is Sindhu? The nectarian ocean of Bhakti. Then we also looked at the overview of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In every session, we are looking at the overview of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu just to ensure that we remain updated. And then we discussed about the glories of Parakiya Bhava and how Jiva Goswami has put a riddle that was solved by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti. This one topic is for Gopala Champu. The rest of the topics that we have covered are Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. BRS means Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then we looked at last week how Krishna was displaying all the rasas in the arena of Kamsa. Simultaneously, he was exhibiting all the rasas. So this we are getting into the first verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which says Akila Rasamrita Murti. Krishna is the personification of all the rasas. Then we also looked at how a jiva can attain a particular rasa in the last session. And we started going into the description of the primary rasas. The first being the recipients of Shantarasa. So these are the things that we have discussed so far. Now going into the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu overview again. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is divided into four sections: East, South, West, and North. Each section talks about a particular topic. The first East section talks about overview of Bhakti and types of Bhakti. Southern section talks about rasa. Southern, south, west, north, they all talk about rasa. Southern section in specific, it introduces us to the concept of rasa and the ingredients of the rasa. In the western section, it only talks about the five types of primary rasa in very detail. In northern section, it talks about the seven types of secondary rasa and rasa bhas and compatibility of rasas in detail. In the eastern section, we have four chapters. The first chapter is an overview of what is bhakti. Then second chapter, it talks about sadhana bhakti, that is bhakti in practicing stage. Then bhava bhakti and prema bhakti, these are the goals to be attained. We are looking into chapter 1 and then we are looking into the Mangalacharans, and after that we have other things to go. The main content of this entire chapter is the definition of Uttama Bhakti and the 6 characteristics of Uttama Bhakti. Okay, so this is the verse, first verse we are looking into. Before starting today's session, we'll one more time look into what is this verse. Akhila Rasamrita Murti, that Krishna is the personification of all the rasas. Prasarmara Ruchi Ruddha Tharaka Palihi. Krishna enchants by his oozing beauty both Taraka and Pali, two gopis. Kalita Shama Lalita. He is bringing under control or makes Shama and Lalita his own possession, and he pleases Radha. May that Vidhu is a name of Krishna, so may that Vidhu be glorious or excel. So so far we are discussing, there are 12 12 rasas. Out of that we have 5 primary rasas and 7 secondary rasas. And we started discussing little bit more detail of the 5 primary rasas. Before we get into again the same discussion, we'll read something from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila, 4th chapter, 42nd, which is talking about the gradation of rasas. Last time we talked about that Dasya Rasa is higher than Shanta, Sakya is higher than Dasya, Vatsalya is higher than Sakya. So that concept is again iterated by Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he says, Dasya Shaka Vatsalya Ajay Shringar Chari Prem Chadurbita Bhaktai Adhar. 4 kinds of devotees are the receptacles of the 4 kinds of mellows in love of God, namely servitude, friendship, paternal affection, and conjugal love. So if you look at it, he is not even discussing about Shantarasa because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not appear in this Kali Yuga to give Shantarasa. He gave only 4 different rasas: Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. This is what Chaitanya Charitamrita says. So therefore, we will not see the Shantarasa. Shantarasa, as we saw that previously, those who are more pious people and more dharmic people and more attached to impersonal Brahman, when they take in their later stages to bhakti, they attain Shantarasa, like 4 Kumaras. So generally, Shantarasa is not put or praised in the literature of the Goswamis and the Acharyas. So the 4 rasas, which are the main rasas that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to give, are discussed here. Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Shringara, which is Madhurya rasa. These are the 4 different rasas, and the devotee is the shelter of all these rasas. Nija nija baba shobe shreshta kori mane, nija babe kore Krishna shokash badane. Each kind of devotee feels thus that his sentiment is the most excellent, and thus in that mood he tastes great happiness with Lord Krishna. So you see that different rasas are mentioned here. Here is Dasya Rasa, here is Sakya Rasa, here is Vatsalya Rasa, here is Madhurya Rasa, Shanta Rasa. So whichever rasa a devotee has attained, he thinks his rasa is the most excellent. He doesn't think there is another rasa I have to attain. Therefore, in the spiritual world, he doesn't think about attaining a higher rasa because he is very satisfied with that mood and he gets the highest happiness he could get in that rasa and he thinks his own rasa is the highest. Nija nija bhava shobe shreshta korimani. Everybody thinks their rasa is, their bhava is the shreshta, the best. তটস্থ হইয়া মনে বিচার যদি করি সবরস হইতে শৃঙ্গারে অধিক মাধুরী. But if we compare the sentiments in an impartial mood, we find that the conjugal sentiment is superior to all others in sweetness. But if we take an objective look, instead of subjectively looking at all the rasas, Kaviraj Goswami is saying the Madhurya rasa is the highest. Now, somebody may question, you Gaudiyas are always glorifying Madhuri Rasa. Therefore, for you, because you are situated in Madhuri Rasa, you will think that, Madhuri Rasa is the highest. Just like a person situated in Dasya Rasa thinks Dasya Rasa is the highest. Sridhara Swami in his commentaries portrays Dasya Rasa to be the highest. So therefore, Gaudiya Vaishnavas are all biased. Somebody can say that. Kaviraj Goswami says, no, not like that. If you objectively look at it, actually Madhurya Rasa is the highest. And what is that objective measurement? So we are going to look today the objective measurement of the different rasas. As we explore the rasas, we will look at the objective analysis of these different rasas to see which rasa, why Madhurya Rasa is the highest. He again quotes the same verse that we looked at last week. Yata uttaram asau swad vishesha ullasamayi api ratihi vasanaya swadvi bhasate kapi kasyachit. Same previous verses that Kaviraj Goswami has written in Bengali. The same thing is written here in Sanskrit. So Kaviraj Goswami will do throughout his work Chaitanya Charitamrita this that he will take from the verses from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and different works of the Goswamis and he will translate that in Bengali and then he will write that. Okay. So the recipients of primary rasa, just to give a overview, quick overview. So these people who are in Shanta Rasa, they appreciate the four-handed form of Krishna, Paramatma or Parabrahman very much. Even when they see Krishna walking around, they don't think, oh, Krishna is walking around, let's go and embrace him. They don't think like that. They think that, oh, here is the Parabrahman walking around. The Paramatma himself manifested here. Like that, that is their mood, and they are very much attached to that four-handed form because the four-handed forms shows godhood, godness, not humanness. So therefore, they like it very much. And usually these people are, we have the three categories: the very dharmic people, or the tapasvis, and the jnanis. When they take up to the path of bhakti in a very later stage in their path, they usually appreciate Shantarasa and they take to that particular rasa. And what do they like to do? They like to hear and discuss principal Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra. They like to be in a solitary place. They don't want to take the association of devotees. They want to be in a solitary place. And they want to clean up their heart very much. All the anarthas should be destroyed. That's where their whole focus and thinking all the time about. And they have to contemplate the truth. We'll just go through all these Upanishads and then we'll bring out the truth. And they like this universal form very much. They will appreciate it. 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is their favorite chapter. And they will emphasize on the Jnana Shakti of the Lord. The Jnana Shakti in the sense that realizing the oneness with the Lord. That they will very much appreciate. And they would like to stare at the tip of the nose. And they would like to behave like an avadut. And then they will just, when they are walking around, they'll not look beyond 4 meters. Their eyes will be like, it won't be even looking at you. Some of these symptoms are there in other rasa devotees as well. You would see that some of the devotees in prema in other rasas may not also look beyond 4 meters, for example. But they will be thinking in smaran of the Lord. Therefore, they will not be looking at beyond 4 meters. But these people who are in Shantarasa, they will be thinking about their oneness with Brahman aspect of the Lord. They like to show this Jnana Mudra. This is Jnana Mudra. They like to show that. And they do not hate even the enemies of the Lord. They show equalness even to the enemies of the Lord or to the devotees of the Lord. They don't differentiate much. They like silence very much instead of speaking around. So sometimes the devotees who the Atmaramas or Tapasvis who pick up bhakti in their later stage, sometimes they go even beyond the Shantarasa. The example is Shukadeva Goswami and Bilwa Mangal Thakur. These are examples given by Rupa Goswami himself. Because of the extraordinary mercy of a devotee or Krishna. In the case of Shukadeva Goswami, Vyasadeva gave extraordinary mercy. So he went beyond Shantarasa. He was not in Shantarasa. Bilwa Thakur was shown favor by Krishna himself. So the progression of Shantarasa. So we said that today we are going to discuss how one rasa is higher than the other rasa in what parameter. So this is the parameter that Shantarasa, it reaches in its perfection 2 stages, bhava and prema. Bhava is the first preliminary love of Godhead. Now we are practicing sadhana bhakti. Bhava is not sadhana bhakti. Bhava is beyond sadhana bhakti. Bhava is the goal of sadhana bhakti. Okay. So that stage is there in Shantarasa. When bhava bhakti comes out, that's the first ray of the sun of love of Godhead. We will really feel what is love of Godhead. At this stage, you will hate liberation. You will not like liberation. Previously, we will have a theoretical understanding that we should not appreciate liberation. But in bhava stage, you will not really appreciate liberation. But even in this bhava stage, the devotees in Shantarasa, they do not have any possessiveness toward the Lord. They do not think, they are not thinking that Lord is mine. That possessiveness is not there because they want to feel the oneness rather than thinking as lover and beloved. That lover and beloved, that is very, 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 very minute. Here he says that the possessiveness, even a single trace of possessiveness doesn't exist only in Shantarasa. In other rasas, in bhava, you have that possessiveness. But in Shantarasa, that is not there. Then it excels when the bhava becomes very thick and condensed. And then the full love of Godhead, like sun, manifests. That is prema. In the stage of prema, the person will not fall down anymore. In the stage of bhava, the person can fall down. As we discussed in last session, either the person can fall down from the stage of bhava or his rasa can be changed from Madhurya Rasa. He may fall down to Sakya Rasa or Dasya Rasa or whatever it is. We will study this in detail in 3rd chapter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That can happen. But once they reach the stage of prema, there is no fall down. Their state is fixed in that particular rasa. It doesn't change beyond that. So this is Shantarasa. These 2 stages are attained in Shantarasa. Next, we are going to look at the Dasya Rasa. So who are all in Dasya Rasa toward Krishna? In general, in the universe, within the universe, the devatas who are appointed in certain post, like Indra, Shiva, Brahma, these are the people appointed by the Lord. They have this Dasya Rasa toward the Lord because they think we are servants of the Lord and we have to serve his orders. That is the mood they have within themselves. Then they go to the shore of Milk Ocean and they pray for the Lord to appear, and the Lord gives order. Brahma, along with all the demigods, they come and execute that order. So mostly they are in the Dasya Rasa, ready to receive. They are looking forward for that order from Krishna and they want to execute it. And they want to see that they are satisfying Krishna. That is their bhakti toward Krishna. the appointed controllers, within the universe. They are in Dasyas. And there are other people who take shelter of Krishna out of fear. Fear could be like, the material world is so bad. I want to just hold tightly the lotus feet of Krishna. I want to take shelter of him completely for my protection. They have Dasya Rasa toward Krishna. Some people will also take shelter of Krishna for looking for protection from anarthas like lust, greed, anger. All these anarthas are disturbing me. Let me just take shelter of Krishna. Let me hold his lotus feet very nicely. They are in Dasya Rasa. The examples are given here is Kaliya. Kaliya was having a lot of anarthas. And then he finally, when Krishna danced upon him, he took shelter of Krishna. He's in Dasya Rasa. The Jarasandha, for example, when he imprisoned a lot of kings around him into a prison house, which Krishna went and released all the prisoners there, they were all kings. They were all imprisoned by Jarasandha. So Krishna went and released all these kings. They are all in Dasya Rasa. They are looking for this, this sort of Krishna comes and frees us. He's our master. That mentality, that mood is always there toward Krishna. Then you have another set of people who are present in the assembly of Dwaraka. When Krishna sits in an assembly, in the assembly of a king, all the people around, they sit in that assembly. They are also in Dasya Rasa. The example is Bhishma. Parikshit is in Dasya Rasa. Vidura is in Dasya Rasa. Uddhava is also in Dasya Rasa. They always like to follow around Krishna. When Krishna is walking, they form as a retinue. They just go along with Krishna. Like a king is being followed by his important associates like ministers and other people. Like this, Bhishma, Parikshit. Parikshit was not there when Krishna was there. But Vidura, Uddhava, they like to go like that. So these are, they have this Dasya Rasa toward Krishna, ready to receive order from Krishna and execute it. That is their main goal. And in Vrindavan, you have, which we were looking at in Gopala Champu, this oil masseurs and the people who are carrying different items for giving bath to Krishna and then decorating him, dressing him up, ready to serve him. They are in Dasya Rasa. Krishna's sons are also in Dasya Rasa. So generally the relationship between children and father is Dasya Rasa. The children have toward father is Dasya Rasa. Father has toward children is Vatsalya Rasa. Children have toward father is Dasya Rasa, like a servant. In traditional society, they look at father like a master, and then they take orders from him, and they don't, in general, usually, they don't disobey the father. So that relationship, the sons of Krishna, like Pradyumna and others, they have. Even younger brothers and sisters, they also have this Dasya Rasa toward Krishna. Here the example is Subhadra, for example. Subhadra has Dasya Rasa toward Krishna. So we have like multiple varieties of people who are ready to take order from Krishna and execute that order. That's what they will be eagerly looking forward for, that order. And they tremble to get that order from Krishna to do the service faster. As soon as order comes, I want to just quickly execute it. That is their mentality. And they execute the service with a lot of reverence and respect for Krishna. They usually are well behaved. They are ready to follow orders. They have complete faith in Krishna. Nobody can shake their faith in Krishna. They naturally possess a humility toward Krishna, that he is Prabhu, he is master. I am Das, servant. That mood continues to exist. And for the sons of Krishna, they are also in Dasya Rasa, but little bit different there. The difference is that the sons, they are looking forward for being pampered by Krishna. Whereas the servants are a little bit ready to receive an order from Krishna, but the children are, they would like to be pampered. Lalya Abhiman. They want to be pampered by Krishna. They are always having this conception that Krishna is my father or Krishna is my brother. Continue to exhibit that. Relative, they are very close. And they will look up at Pradyumna and Samba. These are the sons of Krishna. They will look at their father as, he's such a great father I have got. He has huge fame. He has very sharp intelligence and strength. He protects us all the time. He pampers us. He takes care of us nicely. This is the attitude they have. And usually, these sons and brothers of Krishna, they dress up very nicely, more effulgent than the other servants who are also in Dasya Rasa. One second, sorry. Okay. So, in the servants who are in Dasya Rasa, they have Lord's Aishwarya awareness more. They think Lord has a lot of opulence, that awareness that he is Prabhu, that awareness is more. Whereas the sons and brothers of Krishna, they have this awareness that he is our relative. That awareness is more. But both of them are in Dasya Rasa. And what kind of Krishna they would like to appreciate? In Gokula, in Vrindavan, generally two-armed Krishna. Even the servants, they want to see only two-armed Krishna, not four-armed Krishna. But in Dwaraka and Mathura, they appreciate both forms. In Gokula or Vraja, Krishna only shows two-hand forms. He doesn't show four-hand forms. In Dwaraka and Mathura, he shows two-hand forms and four-hand forms. Both of them, they appreciate. Okay. Okay, so the what are the different activities they do? The servants of Krishna, they are completely focused on their service. As soon as they get an order, they get it, and then they try their best to execute according to their capacity. And whoever is servant of Krishna, they go and make friendship with them. They like being friends with them. And when some other servant performs service better than one's own self, they don't feel a single trace of envy toward that. We'll see that in the case of gopis, it's not the case. But here in Dasya Rasa, that they don't even feel a trace of envy toward others. They appreciate other service better. And they are always fixed in their servant servitude toward Krishna. The sons and brothers or sisters, younger sisters of Krishna, they basically like to sit on a lower seat than Krishna. When Krishna comes and sits in the assembly or inside the home, they will just like to sit a little bit lower. We follow this with the Guru also. When Guru sits, we like to little bit sit lower position rather than on the equal position with the Guru. They like to follow after Krishna. Wherever Krishna goes, they would like to go after him. And they also like to follow Krishna's order. And sometimes they give up their own wishes that Krishna has said, this was my wish, but because Krishna has said something contradictory, I'll just give up my own wish and then I'll just carry on whatever Krishna has given me as order. They have that mood. And they, both the servants and the sons and sister and brothers of Krishna, they offer respects to Krishna whenever Krishna comes. They maintain silence in front of Krishna. They don't speak. The servants and the sons, they don't speak. They keep mum. And they like to bow down. And they would like to exhibit humility in front of Krishna. And they would like to carry out order of Krishna, even if it means they have to give up their lives. They would like to execute it, and they will just like to lower their heads in the presence of Krishna, and they don't joke around in front of Krishna. We saw that in friends, not like that, huh? But here the servants are not like that. They don't like to laugh or joke around, except in the case of you would see in the servants in Vraja, they are a little bit. They have little bit tinge of Shakirasa, so they would sometimes joke around, as we saw in the story before. And when Krishna talks something confidential, private conversations, especially about his leelas with his wives or gopis, they don't want to hear that. They will just shut their ears. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to be interrupted by their sentiments. They maintain distance. So this is Dasya Rasa. So the progression of Dasya Rasa. You see, Santa Rasa, it has come to the stage of Bhava and Prema. It stopped there. It did not progress further. The love did not intensify further. But in the case of Dasya Rasa, there are two more stages even beyond Prema. So we discussed what is Bhava, is a first ray of love of Godhead. Then Prema, the full love of Godhead. Then Prema also gets intensified. It becomes very, 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 very thick. And it melts the heart to a liquid state. That is Sneha. What does that, this is poetically explaining it, but what does that even mean? When Krishna comes in front of them, when they see Krishna, they are not satisfied by looking at Krishna. They want to continue to drink the beauty of Krishna. Their eyes are not satisfied when they look at Krishna. Their hearts are just melting. They want to continue to keep on looking. We would see this kind of descriptions in Bhagavatam. They through the cups of their eyes, they drink the beauty of Krishna. So that is in the Sneha stage. In Prema stage, not so much like this, but in Sneha stage, they'll continue to appreciate that particular thing because their heart has melted to an excellent state. Now, this Sneha state also attains Raga. So, what is Raga? Raga is when they are ready to give up their life for Krishna. In the Prema stage, that doesn't happen. That mood doesn't arise. In the Raga stage, when it intensifies, when the Prema has intensified further and further, they wouldn't mind giving up their life for Krishna. So we see in the case of Parikshit Maharaj, who is in Dasya Rasa, he says that when he was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, he was completely fixed in the Dasya Rasa. He has attained to the stage of this Raga and he is not worried about giving up his life. He is completely fixed in hearing about the pastimes of Krishna. That is Raga stage. Not all the servants attain the stage of Raga. Many of the servants, especially the Devatas, they attain a stage up to Prema. But beyond that, some specific people, they attain Sneha and Raga in Dasya Rasa. Not all of them attain Sneha and Raga. The servants in Vraja, they attain Sneha and Raga. But servants outside of Vraja in Mathura and Dwaraka, they usually do not attain Sneha or Raga. There are some specific devotees like Parikshit, Uddhava, and very close to the Lord. They attain these higher stages. They ready to give up their life for executing the order of Krishna. So this is Dasya Rasa. We can stop here because there is next is Sakya Rasa and we will continue Sakya Rasa in next session. You have any questions, common reflections that you have, you can share now. So Radhakunda Mataji, yes Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavats Pranam. Thank you so much for the wonderful explanations, Prabhuji. Very, very nice to hear. And also, presentation is so good, very clean and neat. Thank you so much for your time for making this for us, Prabhu.
Thank you,
I have
Mataji.
a couple of questions, Prabhuji. Can I ask?
Yes, Mataji.
So the first question is, you were talking about the Dasya Rasa within Vraja, servants and outside also, right? Both the things were explained. So outside Vraja, I understand that they know the opulences of Supreme Lord and they treat him as a Supreme Lord. They know that feature of Supreme Lord also. So there's naturally the mood comes. But in Vraja case, what would be their exact mood, Prabhuji? It's just out or how
Yeah,
come?
very nice question. I actually forgot to cover this point. Yeah. So outside of Vraja, it was very easy for this Dasya Rasa to exhibit. Why? Because they have this mood of he is Bhagavan, I am the servant, correct? And the Vaikuntha Dasya Rasa only is mostly prominent. You would see Madhurya Rasa only in Lakshmi, only in very specific people, not everywhere. But Dasya Rasa is predominant there because this he is Bhagavan and I am the servant. That relationship is there. But in Vraja, you don't have this relationship of Krishna being Bhagavan. None of the people in Vraja, they will look at Krishna as Bhagavan. So how does this Dasya Rasa work there? So there, the people who are in Dasya Rasa, they look at Krishna as he is the son of Nanda, and Nanda is the head of all the people of Vrajavasis. So he is the son of our head, and that way they nourish their Dasya Rasa. So it's like a prince. Son, Nanda Maharaj is like a king like a king, not a king, like a king of Raja. And Krishna is the son of Nanda Maharaj. He's the prince, and we are all his servants, like that. Not with the awareness of he being the supreme lord. That awareness does not exist in Raja.
So king's son. So that is
Ah,
what our
king or head, leader's son.
okay. Very nice. Wonderful, Prabhu. It's nicely answered. And another question is like, in the Dasya Rasa, you are saying that they can go up to the Sneha Raga, right? So does this happen in Sadhaka Badi or it's in the Siddha Badi?
This in the sadhaka body, generally we reach up to the stage of prema. In the beginning of prema, once prema begins, we will be transported because we cannot bear separation from Lord anymore at this stage. In when the prema begins, the devotee will be transferred and he will enter into the pastimes of the Lord. Uh, Usually, this is the first stage that is attained in sadhana. And when as soon as a prema is attained, you have to change the body because the body also cannot hold the power of prema. So beyond that, anything happens, it does not happen in this sadhaka body. It is all of these things happen in the spiritual body because the spiritual body has the capacity to possess this intense emotions, spiritual emotions. The sadhaka body cannot hold it. So these things happen only in the stage of perfection. Therefore, Rupa Goswami does not delve in the about sneha, raga, and other aspects, especially in the beginning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where he is discussing about sadhana bhakti, because he says there that generally these things cannot exist in the body of sadhaka. So I'm gonna differ discussing about these things.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Last question is, I have forgotten to write the question because Parikshit Maharaj, you were saying about Parikshit Maharaj. And you were saying something about Parikshit Maharaj because he's not in a Vraja mood, right?
Yeah, he was.
Maharaj, he was outside Vraja mood only, right? In
Yeah,
Dasyarasi, in Dasyarati, right?
yeah. They usually in that kind of positions also when they become, come in the lineage in Dwaraka and Mathura, their mood will naturally be like, they are attracted to Krishna in that particular form.
Yeah, I have forgotten actually. I was writing the question and you were ended and you were asking. So when I remember the question, I'll ask you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. I have a question about that here. Thank you.
Nikhil Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanwas Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Guruji, Pradhanat Pranam. Guruji, I'm having a little difficulty understanding Sneha. I think I understood Prema and Raga, the difference between them. Can you help me understand a little better this intermediate Sneha stage?
Yeah. So Sneha is a stage, it's when the prema reaches its height, very intense prema. When the prema becomes very condensed, you can think of like prema like sugar water, and when you condense it, it becomes very thick, like that. And then that is the stage of sneha. In the stage of sneha, the devotee will not be satisfied by hearing the flute song. In the prema stage, when he hears the flute song, he just relishes it. And he looks at when Krishna is standing in front and then he does some activity, he focuses there, does so many things. But in Sneha stage, absorb, one second. Okay. So in the stage of Sneha, he's completely absorbed in this one aspect. When he looks at the beauty of Krishna, He cannot take away his eyes. He's just so focused, and then he'll be just continuously staring there. Because Krishna gives that experience to this devotee, and and he doesn't do any other activity because he is not able to do anything beyond that particular point, the particular observation. Either hearing the flute song of Krishna, he cannot take off his ears away from hearing flute song. He'll be just completely focused on that. So because of the liquefaction of the heart that has happened.
So using the same analogy, Prabhu, just to play it back to make sure I understood it. In prema, um, the jiva will not be seeking the play of the flute. They will just be happy hearing it. And in sneha, they will actively try to seek out Krishna. And in raga, they will do even more to keep hearing the flute. Is that something?
The raga stage is little more intense. Now, in the stage of prema and sneha, let's just compare that, right? When we are comparing, we can say this is less absorbed in prema, but prema itself is, very, very great absorption from our point of view. But when we have to compare prema and sneha, then we have to distinguish. Therefore, we are saying prema is lesser happiness and sneha is more happiness and more focus. Huh? But prema itself is complete focus on the Lord. And within that, there is variety of focus. This is deep, intense focus, deep, intense observation. They are just, they cannot take away their eyes off of the Lord like that. Now, in the stage of raga, however, they're ready to give up their life just for executing the order of Krishna. That mood, that feeling, it's not an artificial feeling, naturally comes from within. Krishna said me this, I have to just do it. I'll just give up my life like that. They're ready to do that. That happens in the stage of raga. When the prema becomes more condensed, it becomes sneha, then they are just so much absorbed in Krishna. And then when it condenses further, they're ready to give up their life for Krishna. And in the Dasya Rasa, not all of them attain sneha and raga. Only few of them attain sneha and raga.
Are there examples, Prabhu, in Vraja Lila of who has sneha and who has raga?
Actually, he gives a lot of examples in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that I have not noted it down. For every point, he gives multiple examples. That's why Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu becomes very sweet, because when we read these examples, we'll get not only we'll understand the mood, but we'll also appreciate all these devotees. I have not noted it down. Maybe I'll just find one example and then I'll post it in the WhatsApp group.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, last question is about Krishna, and you mentioned he never exceeds the age of 15. Is that only when he's in Vraj? Because when he was at the Kurukshetra war, wasn't he in at least appearingly more manly than boy, right?
Yeah, so apparently people are painting Krishna like that. He looks more like manly, but he never goes beyond the age of 15, even in Mathura or Dwaraka. He's the best of the teenager form. That is the form he possesses. Young. He does not have mustache also, you see, because he's toward the end of the teenage form. The one Kshatriya who does not have mustache. So he maintains that throughout, not just in Vraja, outside Vraja also.
I see. So throughout the Mahabharata, he was always like that. So in
Yeah.
no commentary did any one of his detractors or the antagonists comment about his appearingly young age or anything like that. We
They
never hear.
appreciate beauty. Even Shishupal, who was actually criticizing Krishna in the assembly of Rajasuya Yagya of Yudhishthira, so he was criticizing, but he cannot take off his eyes from Krishna. He was just completely focused. Therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says when Krishna finally took his Sudarshan Chakra and then killed Shishupal, when the Sudarshana Chakra touched his neck, he actually attained the stage of Prema. How? Because he was completely absorbed in the beauty of Krishna. He couldn't take off his eyes. So even the demons, they get attracted by Krishna's beauty. So they may criticize here and there for different reasons that you ran away from the battlefield, and nobody was criticizing about his beauty because when he was walking in that Rajasuya Yagya, people are saying, he's looking like Krishna is the best of the creation. Huh? Those don't think that Krishna is God, they were speaking like he's the best of the creator's creation, like that.
Got it. Thank you, Prabhu, for being so detail oriented in your presentation.
Thank you, Prabhu, for a nice question. Praveen Prabhu, Dhanavas Pranam.
Hare Dandat Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I was just curious, like why the form of like 15 years specifically? Like, is there something special about 15 years?
Yeah. So that is said to be the best appearance that one gets in that age. So you have like Balya. There are three types of ages. Balya is 0 to 5. This age is more suitable for Vatsalya Rasa. And then you have 5 to 10, which is called Pauganda. And this age is more suitable for Sakya Rasa, friendship. And then you have 11 to 15, which is, or 16, you can say, or 16 beginning or whatever it is. That is called Kaishora. And that age is more suitable for Madhurya Rasa. Therefore, in our previous presentation, if you look, there was one commentary that I missed to mention also. So here, this verse we saw that Krishna is walking in the arena of Kamsa. So there, Mallana Mashani, that is, he is a thunderbolt for the wrestlers. Nirunam Naravara, best of the mankind. Strinam, for the woman, he is mentioned with two adjectives. For everything else, it was mentioned as only one adjective. Mallana means wrestlers, and Ashani means thunderbolt. Nirnam, for the human beings, he is the best of the human beings. But for Stris, he is Smara and he is Murtiman. Two adjectives are given here. So Vishwanath Chakravarti takes this opportunity to comment that he is Smara. Smara means Cupid. He is the Cupid. But why Murtiman has to be mentioned here? So he says that Krishna's Kaishora form, which is suitable for Madhurya Rasa, that is his original form. Everything else he manifests from that form. Just like we have Krishna's Swayam Bhagavan, and he manifests different avatars. Within that, Krishna's form itself, the Krishna's form of being 16 years old, that's the original form. Because it is very suitable for Madhurya Rasa. And from that form, other forms come out. So that is the original form. So therefore, because it is suitable for Madhurya Rasa and it is the prime youth, so he maintains his body like that.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Haribol.
Thank you, Krishna. Radhakunda Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, actually, you talked about Santarasa, right, today? Santarasa, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not talk much about that, but I hear from some devotees that the trees and, the non-moving things in the spiritual world are in Shantarasa, and some say, no, absolutely there is no Shantarasa exists in the Vraja, especially Goloka, but even the trees and mountains, non-moving things will also have Madhuri Rasa towards Krishna. So which one is correct, Prabhuji?
So the trees and the mountains, they don't have Madhuri Rasa because Madhuri Rasa exists, they have to have a proper form. Like the form of a beloved, they have to have particular form they need to have. Now, in terms of whether the trees, cows, these have Shantarasa toward the Lord or not, there are two opinions. One, which is quoted by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Prabhupada also reflects in his Nectar of Devotion book, that these have Shantarasa. And so Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur first talks about that in his own work. I think in Chaitanya Charitamrita or somewhere, I forgot where did I read it. Probably Chaitanya Bhagavat. But in the Goswami literature, we don't see that example. In Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in the Shantarasa, he doesn't even talk about that, trees or cows or as being example. Rather, there is one other rati called Swachha Rati, which we will study. I'm just bringing in some detail, which is even lower than Shantarasa. He says that exists even in Gokula as well. From on whom? He says small babies, 1, 2 years old. They are there in Gokula also. what will be their realization when Krishna walks around? They'll be thinking, hey, somebody is walking around, just like, it's 2 year old, what they will think, somebody beautiful comes. They'll just like it, but they do not know why they are liking it, and they will not even recognize what that person is. Huh? So these people, these small babies, they have this swachharati toward Krishna. It is lower than Shantaras also. They exist in Gokula. So all the rasas are there in Gokula.
So how about then these trees and non-moving things? Do they?
In the other opinion is that they say it is just a manifestation of the chit shakti of the Lord.
So
So
they
the
don't have any rasa towards the Lord then?
Sandhini Shakti, for example, it manifests the whole Dhamma, Vrindavan, and it manifests different locations. And it also manifests these trees, mountains, different animals like that. So that is the other opinion.
How about the birds and different?
Just manifested by the Sandhini Shakti itself. That's the second opinion. Chit
Okay.
Shakti, internal Shakti of the Lord itself, just manifesting that for the pastimes.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Anand Balde Prabhu, Dhanas Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. Prabhuji, that means that anybody who is born in Vrindavan has some sort of rasa for Krishna.
Yeah. Correct.
It can be insects, it can be anything, right? But he has some sort of, because they are born in Vrindavan, they have some sort of rasa for Krishna.
When we are talking about Vrindavan, we are talking about the spiritual Vrindavan, correct? Not in the Vrindavan.
Not in the material.
Manifest in the material world. In the material world, currently is in a covered form. So though Vrindavan, the spiritual world, Vrindavan can be accessed near to the place near to Delhi. It can be accessed, but not everybody has access to that. So for most of us, it's all covered. And even when we take birth there or when we live there, we may not have prema for the Lord. Rickshawalas and other people, they may have prema for the Lord. They are also sadhakas. They are just given more conducive environment to practice bhakti.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, thank you, devotees. We'll stop here. Thank you so much for joining. We'll continue next week. Hare Krishna. Vansha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhye cha patitanam pavanebhyo Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you.